What costume should we get you for the Star Wars bits?
I don't know. Something that really speaks to me as a person.
Yeah. Well, how about this one? What do you think? Matt here. Just a quick clarification to say that since filming this episode, Fantasy Flight announced a second edition of X-Wing that we naturally haven't played. This video will only look at X-Wing First Edition, but broadly, I think that what we say here will still apply after the changes. Hopefully. Anyhow, enjoy!
Stop! Robin, what the hell?
Yes, I made some tweaks. Seems to be working out rather nicely.
Do I come into your opening credit screen and ruin everything? No! God, looks like I didn't shoot first this time.
Alright, Kylo.
X-Wing?
And attack wing.
Pit two small fleets of ships into a dogfight on your tabletop.
Movement and positioning are key in both games. Luckily, they both have an exceptionally smart movement system.
Each ship comes with its own movement dial, which has all the possible moves that it can make.
Each corresponds to one of the cardboard movement templates, helpfully demonstrated by my glamorous assistant here.
Both players select their moves at the same time and in secret, before the ships are activated in captain or pilot skill order.
This is an ingenious system, because you're always trying to predict where your opponents are going to move, so that you can get a shot on them, but not the other way round. Are you still choosing?
It's also hilarious when your opponent misjudges and ends up moving through an asteroid.
As part of your movement, you can also perform one action associated with the ship or the upgrade cards you've chosen.
But you have to be careful how you move.
Some moves have red arrows which stress your ship, preventing you from doing actions.
You need to take a nice relaxing green move to remove the stress token and allow you to start taking actions again.
After movement, each ship gets to shoot at an enemy in its firing arc.
Which means rolling some dice! Woo! I got him!
Don't get cocky. The other player might get a chance to roll some green evade dice, but more than likely some shots will get through.
These will chip away at your shields initially, but once they are all gone, you'll be taking full damage cards which, if it's a critical hit, will have extra unpleasant effects.
But just rolling dice is really going to drag on. You really need to be making full use of your special actions.
Even here, the two games are remarkably similar. In both, you can either focus or battle stations to upgrade symbols on the dice into hits.
You can target lock a nearby ship, giving you dice rerolls in a future attack on that ship.
Woo! Barrel roll!
Cloaking.
Oh no, sorry, it's just attack wing with cloaking, isn't it? You disable your shields for a huge evade bonus. It always feels so delightfully risky.
So, we're talking about differences then?
I guess so.
Good! That means I can start complaining about how awful Attack Wing looks.
It's been made on a smaller budget.
You can say that again.
But it could be worse. This is the newly released, shinier 2nd edition set, which means we can compare it to the original.
What? Where am I? What am I wearing?
Much better. The new Star Trek Attack Wing comes with 2 Klingon ships and 2 Federation ships, a much more natural starter set.
And yet they still haven't figured out how to paint them. Although, I suppose they should find some metallic paints somewhere.
Now I'll admit the old Trek cards were bad. Miles is out of focus, Geordi is in the wrong aspect ratio, and what in God's name has Worf eaten to make him look like that? Now look at those pretty chaps.
It's almost a professional job. Oh no, wait, I'm lost in an orange fog again.
With the best will in the world, Star Trek Attack Wing looks bad, whichever version you're looking at.
You know what happens to red shirts, don't you?
They live happily ever after? Oh, that felt worse than being frozen in carbonite. X-Wing thankfully looks like someone actually cared about it.
The ships have actually been painted to a decent quality. The cards, although small, are nicely illustrated.
It's a product that actually feels like it's worth the not insubstantial amount you have to pay for it.
At least the Attackwing has enough dice to play the game.
Fire!
Yes!
Not to mention the exceedingly useful movement reference cards.
Are we really talking about reference cards?
Yes.
At a glance, you can see what all your movement options are. They're so useful.
And what do you have to do in X-Wing?
Constantly spin this dial until you find the move that works. Or memorize it, I guess. Yeah, they really are useful. Fine. Especially as you can see what your opponent can do as well.
And especially since the ships in Star Trek have much more interesting movement options.
Each of the factions are really well differentiated, not just in the cards and upgrades, but starting from how the ships move. The Federation have strong shields and can pull off the all-too infuriating move backwards maneuver. Meanwhile, Klingons love a good U-turn, even at traffic lights, and have all the guns. Romulans spin and turn like a dream. They very rarely have to deal with red movement actions.
And the Borg sphere just moves sideways whenever it likes.
Well, X-Wings are more manoeuvrable, and TIE fighters move very quickly in straight lines.
Sure, there's variety in the ships in X-Wing, but there isn't variety or distinction to the factions. And while we're on the subject of factions, think of this. X-Wing just doesn't have the rich universe to draw upon. We all know that the scum and villainy set is made up nonsense just to add variety to the metagame. Plus, there's the plethora of scenarios in Attackwing, different ways to play the game.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about scenarios. What are the scenarios in the new base game like, Robin?
I couldn't believe it when I looked through the rulebook and read the ship requirements for the basic starter missions. 3 players, 1 Federation, 1 Klingon, 1 Romulan ship.
They've reprinted the scenarios from the original base set, but they've not given you the ships or factions you need to play them. You get this set, and it's completely unplayable.
Damn it, Barclay! That is a complete screw-up.
It's outrageous.
Yes, it is. But it doesn't change one of Attackwing's best features, which is that with every new ship expansion, you get a new scenario or 2.
Often, these are based around what happened in the TV series, letting you recreate your favourite moments. Scenario play is by far and away Attackwing's biggest strength.
Yeah, but each scenario deliberately requires the ship it comes packed with. Like, you can't use any of your other miniatures in that role.
Fine. What does X-Wing have?
3 generic scenarios, and the occasional extra one with a big ship pack.
See, we're back to the richness of the IP giving way more options for the game.
At least X-Wing's options work.
It's the same problem the Star Wars universe has. There's only 2 sides to the conflict, right? Which is way less interesting than the complex politics of Star Trek.
Wait, are we saying that the comparison between these 2 games is basically the same as comparing Star Wars and Star Trek?
It kind of is.
I think we need to get some professional advice on this one.
Hello, this is Soviet Union?
Wrong number.
Hello, what appears to be the problem?
Well, we wanted to express an opinion
On the internet?
about Star Wars.
Are you insane? Don't mention The Last Jedi for Pete's sake.
We weren't.
That's a relief.
We were going to compare Star Wars to Star Trek.
Don't ever call here again. Good day, sir. I said good day, sir.
So what did he say?
I'm not totally sure, but I think he was okay with it.
Good. So we think that if you want a richer, more varied experience with a load of fun,
If in balance.
scenarios to explore,
And you don't mind really shonky production values.
then Star Trek Attackwing is for you.
But if you want something flashier, jump in the cockpit and shoot down some ships type of game, then look no further than X-Wing. However, we have to come to some kind of conclusion.
Quite so.
You see, I know that deep down you preferred the more varied scenarios of Star Trek, like disabling your own shields to transport stuff from planets while under fire, rather than a straight-up gunfight.
Yeah, just a straight-up points battle isn't generally that much fun. But then, I'm not really into building lists to take to tournaments anyway. But I still can't forgive Attackwing for its shoddy components.
Oh, okay, but it can do everything that X-Wing can do. In fact, it can do more because it's got extra mechanics that make every game so much more varied and interesting.
But you can't play the game out of the box!
Fine. But that's true of X-Wing too. You'll have to buy at least a couple more ships to make the games fun.
That's a fair point, actually.
I will concede that X-Wing is by far the greater product, but Attack Wing is the greater game.
10-year-old me would be appalled at this.
Thank you for watching X-Wing vs Attack Wing.
And Star Trek won.
Somehow.
Not quite sure how.
Yes.
But let us know what you thought in the comments below, and please be nice about it.
Please. If you can forgive us, then maybe like this video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe share it. But
yeah, and if you want to see more, then click on screen and tune in next week when for once we won't be fighting each other.
we'll be fighting the game.
Hey, which ones?
Pandemic and Flashpoint Fire Rescue.
See you there.